Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video we will talk about classes and objects in Kotlin. Kotlin supports both object-oriented programming as well as functional programming. So in the previous video we worked with functional programming. For example, we have defined lambda functions and we have also worked with higher order functions. In this video we will take a look at object-oriented programming in Kotlin. So we will be creating some classes and real-time objects. Alright, so let's start with the concept of classes. A class is a blueprint for objects which have common properties. A class in Kotlin is declared using the class keyword. So we type class, then we supply the name of the class. So it's class name. And then we have a set of these curly braces which indicate the body of the class. Kotlin class has a class header. So this is basically a class header. And a class header specifies its type parameters, constructors, etc. And then we have a class body which is surrounded by these curly braces. So in an object-oriented style of programming, we can divide a complex problem into smaller sets by creating objects. And these objects share two important characteristics. So they have a state and they have a behavior. So let's take a few examples. For example, we have an object called lamp. It can be in on or off state. So for example, we have a lamp. It has two states, on and off. So we can turn on the lamp and we can turn off the lamp. So that's basically the behavior of the lamp. And in a similar way, we have a car as an object. It has a current gear, like a shift gear, a number of gears, etc. And it has different behaviors. For example, apply brakes, accelerate, decelerate, etc. All right, so let's start by defining our class. So let's create a lamp class. And here we have some properties. So I'll type property. And we can also call these data members. So we have a property that is on. So this will determine if the lamp is on or off. So this will be of type Boolean. So which means that this will hold either true or false. Then we have some member functions. And these member functions will define the behavior of the class. So for example, we can turn on a lamp or we can turn off a lamp. So we have a function turn on. And this will set the variable is on equal to true. And in the similar way, we have a function to turn off the lamp. So we'll call it turn off. And this will set the variable is on equal to false. So here we have defined a class named a lamp. The class has one property is on, which is defined in the similar way we define a variable. And the class has two member functions, turn on and turn off. So a class is basically a blueprint for the object. We can think of a class as a sketch or a prototype of a lamp. So which means that it contains all the details about the lamp. So currently we have just one state. We can also add, for example, the number of lamps, or sorry, the number of bulbs, and the brand or the color and some other properties related to the lamp. So the class acts as a prototype of a lamp or an object. And based on these descriptions, we build the lamp, and a lamp will be the object. Since many lamps can be made from the same description, we can create many objects from a class. So one important thing to note is that the property that we have defined here, this must be initialized or must be declared abstract, which means that we cannot leave this property uninitialized. If we do that, the compiler will generate an error. So here we can see the property must be initialized or be abstract. So we have initialized the isOn property to false. Classes, objects, properties, and member functions can have visibility modifiers. So the keyword, the private that we can see here, this is a visibility modifier. So which means that isOn property can be changed from only inside the lamp class. Means we cannot access this property from outside of this class. So we have 4 types of visibility modifiers: private, public, protected, and internal. So we have private, we have public, we have protected, and we have internal. A private visibility modifier means that this can be accessed from inside the class body. Public access modifier means that this can be accessed from anywhere. So we can access it from within the class as well as from outside the class, and also in child classes. So it's visible everywhere. Then we have a protected, which means that this is visible to the class and its subclasses. Visible to the class and its subclasses. And finally we have internal. So this means that any client inside the module can access them. So we will take a look at all these access specifiers in the upcoming videos, but for now just remember these descriptions that I have written. And here we can see we have not specified any visibility modifier with these functions, so they are public by default. So let's remove this. So let's see how we can create objects of a class. So when we define a class, only the specifications for the object is defined. So we have not allocated any memory yet. So a memory will be allocated once we create objects of this lamp class. And to access these member functions, we need to create an object. So let's go ahead and create the object of a lamp class. To create an object, we type var. So let's call this object L1, and this will be of type lamp because it is going to be an object of a lamp class. And then we'll set this equal to lamp with a set of parentheses. So this means that we are calling the constructor of this class, and we will talk about constructors in upcoming videos. And let's go ahead and create another object. So we'll call this L2, and we'll set this equal to lamp. So here we have defined 2 objects of this lamp class. So once we create the object, memory will be allocated, and inside this lamp object we have 1 property and we have 2 member functions, and we can access both of these through the lamp object. So let's see how we can access the member functions and properties of a class. So to access member functions and properties, we can use the dot notation. So we type the name of the object and then we type dot, and here we can see we have the 2 functions. So they are printed in bold, which means that these are the member of the current object. And we cannot see the property which is on because that's private. So we cannot access it outside of the class. So let's call this member function. So let's try to access the property and see what happens. So let's access the property via L2 object, and let's type isOn and set this equal to true. And here we can see we have a red squiggly here, and which says that cannot access isOn, it is private in lamp. So which means that we cannot access the private members of a class. So let's create another function inside of this class. And I'm going to call this function, let's say, display light status. And this will take the lamp name or the object name that we defined, and this will check if the property is on is equal to true, then this will print lamp is on, and we'll add the lamp parameter here. Otherwise, we will type lamp is off. So inside the main function, we have a turn on L1. And now let's display the light status for this lamp. So we are going to, let's say, call this a lamp 1, right? So let's go ahead and run this program to observe the output. So here we can see we have a lamp 1, lamp is on. And we can see we are accessing the is on property inside of this class. So we can access private variables or private members inside of a class. So that's all about introduction of classes. And in the next video, we will talk about constructors, and we will cover primary and secondary constructors.